Today we are continuing our conversation on why most people never bring their ideas to a thriving business and how you are going to fix it. We started this series yesterday, so if you haven't watched the first part in this series, please go to YouTube and then watch it. On YouTube, in my channel on YouTube, we have over 540 videos, and then we have been putting the replays of all the sessions we've had, the practical coaching sessions. So you could literally go to that YouTube channel and grow your business. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, someone said that he had been spending time feasting on those 500 and something videos, and he said that his financial situation has significantly improved because he was doing the work. And part of it is that the things that we do are very practical, and they're very practical. They are not theories. And then usually these sessions end with telling you step by step practical things to do. So we've been talking about why most people struggle to turn their ideas to business. And then we talked about how people carry their ideas to the grave and then they never get it done. And the fact that that idea you've been procrastinating for 5 years, for 10 years, you've been saying, oh, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 job someday, and then I will implement this idea. I will start this business. Now that someday has turned into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You're still waiting for that someday before you can turn your idea into business. And then the interesting thing is, all these years you have spent procrastinating have cost you so much. You do not even know how much you're not having implemented that idea has cost you over the years. So we saw that there are 5 major reasons why people never turn their ideas to their business. So I'm going to recap those 5, but I still want you to watch that video, the previous video on the subject. But I'm going to recap it here. And today we'll start a 5-step process. So each day we'll take one step. Each day we'll take one step of what you are going to do to turn your idea into a profitable business that can liberate you. Each of us has one idea that is supposed to give us financial freedom. Just one, not 2. Of course, you can have other things. You can have other streams of multiple streams of income. But each person is born with one idea. Say, I give you power to acquire wealth. And that power comes in the form of ideas. And each person has one idea that will set them free. But the problem is that many of us are not manifesting that idea into business, into something that could actually free us. So out of fear, we remain in a small corner, doing that small job. And then many people out of fear, many people who should be employers, who should be business owners, employing other people, have been employees themselves for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. But you knew that you're supposed to be the employer of labor. But because you've been afraid to turn that idea into business, because you're wondering, what about tomorrow? So there are 5 reasons that people never turn their ideas into profitable big business. Number 1, we saw that there was the factor of fear and self-doubt. So people are saying, what if I fail? What if I fail? And that question paralyzes you because you're asking, what if I fail? When I left Shell, when I quit Shell to start my business, lots of people, many Shell staff said, oh, we've been wanting to quit. Then I consulted for many banks, held training programs for many popular banks. Some of those programs had deputy general managers and general managers. I'm telling you, all those big bankers that you see with the big cars, with the big drivers and all those big pecs, they will call me aside and say, how did you muster the courage to leave Shell? that they themselves have been trying to quit for 10, 13, 15 years, and they've never been able to do that. So, fear. What if I fail? That fear keeps so many people in one particular spot, and then it keeps their idea from coming to life. Second reason why people never turn their ideas into profitable business. Second reason is overthinking and perfectionism. We want it to be perfect before we run it, but it never happens. It never happens. Every big business you think about today, whether it's Apple, go read the biography of Steve Jobs. Go read how Apple was started. Go read how Jeff Bezos started his Amazon in 1984. None of them started perfect. None of them started perfect. So if you're waiting until everything is perfect, until you have the perfect government, yes, the perfect party in your country, the perfect head of state, you're going to wait for long. And it may never come. In fact, it never comes. So, a lot of people want the thing to be perfect. They want everything to be perfect. They want to get the money first before they want to save first. They want to have a safety net first. They want everything perfect. And then you've been waiting and overthinking and waiting for it to be perfect for the past 5 years. You've never started that business. Number 3, lack of knowledge and clarity. So people are saying, I don't even know where to start. So not knowing the first step, not knowing where to start has kept so many people from turning their business, their ideas into a big business. And I learned something. I attended Dean Jackson's mastermind. I paid for it and I went for it. It happened in Celebration in Florida. So I flew to Florida, and then a couple of us met with Dean Jackson. The very first day, we had a conversation. He taught us something that was worth the $5,000 that I paid to be part of that mastermind. He said, he taught us a concept that he called who, not what. No. Sorry, he said who, not how. In fact, everybody type it in there. Who, not how. And I'm going to explain it. Type it first of all. It's a mystery formula that gave me my money's worth flying to Florida to attend that mastermind. Who, type it in the comment section. Who, not how. So the reason that many of us get stuck and we never start is because we're asking the wrong question. We are asking how instead of who. For example, many of you have been waiting until you can create a website for your business. If it is you, say me. How many of you have been waiting? You want a beautiful, perfect website for your business. If it is you, just own up. Say yes. I've been waiting for, just type website. If you are the one that's been waiting until you get a website, you want to get the domain, you want to get the host, you want to get everything, and then you want to have a beautiful website running. And then it's a funnel, maybe a sales funnel in the website. And you've been waiting for this. You know why you've never taken off? You've waited to get a website for 2 years. You've waited to get a website for 3, 4, 5 years to get a website. And you've never done it. Do you know why? Because you're asking how. You're asking the how question, not who. So now this is how Dean Jackson broke it down, for us in Florida. So he said, rather than ask, how do I create my website? Because when you ask the how question, the thing, you get stuck because you don't know how. You don't know how, to create a website. So, and then if you are bothering about how you are going to do it, then of course you start thinking about what does the website, how do you get a domain name? How do you register? How do you even pay? How do you create your homepage? How do you put all these things together? And you're starting from scratch. And by the time you continue to ask the how question, 2 years have gone and you've never done it. 2 years have gone and then you've never done it because you're asking how. Now, look at what happens when you, instead of asking how, you ask who. And then you ask, who has conquered this problem that I can pay to do it for me? Do you know that if you ask the who question, that your website you've been waiting for to do for 2 years, do you know that you can get it done in 1 day, in 2 days? If you ask the who, if you find the who, because they say who does it? And so rather than waste 2 years waiting to know how to do a website, I pay someone and in 3 days my website is up. And so if I pay the person $100, $200, can you imagine the $200 I have paid? Yes. Do you know what that business would have made in 2 years? Maybe $200,000. And then, but what kept me was just $200. Why? Because I was asking how and not who. Is this making sense to somebody? Type value if you are getting value. Interact with me. Let me know. Is this making sense to you? Type value. Type value if this is making sense to you. Okay? So that is why a lot of people have not started their, turned their ideas into profitable business. Okay. Now, the fourth reason why people never turn their ideas to business is people say, they think about the money and resource limitations. They say, I don't have the capital. This is a very common one. Okay, so if you're here watching on Facebook or TikTok or watching the replay on YouTube, and then you have ever said, you've ever given yourself that excuse, you say, I lack capital. Type capital. Just type capital. Type capital. Yes, I can see value on TikTok. Yes. Besto Guinea, yes, value, okay? Nata, value. All right, and then there's a message on TikTok. So let me see what message that is. I'm not sure how to get there. All right, so capital, I can see capital. Lots of capital, yes. Layla says capital. So there are people who have given themselves that excuse. I do not have capital. And actually it's valid. It's actually valid because you need capital. You know, you need capital to move your idea forward. But remember what I told you yesterday, what my 85-year-old mentor told me. He said, Obo, when you want to start a business, if you have the capital, buy and sell. If you don't have the capital, sell and buy. Very powerful concept. And that was how I started. Because I didn't have capital to start what I'm doing currently. But I sold a service. I pre-sold a service to MultiChoice for an equivalent of $15,000 then. That was how I started. I sold and then I bought. So, but if you're waiting until you have the capital to rent an office, to rent and equip a big manufacturing equipment, or to buy it and ship it down from China, and then that machine is like $30,000 and you don't have it. So you say, okay, I don't have $30,000. I've been waiting. But do you know you can sell and buy? So if you get some customer order, if you sell that product, there are contract manufacturing plants all around you if you look for it. So you don't have to be the one to start with a $50,000 machine. Look for contract manufacturing places, and where they can make you pay them. You take your recipe, your biscuit recipe there, you take your recipe to them and they manufacture for you. And then you continue to sell until you have made enough sales and generated capital to now buy your own factory. Is this helping somebody? So when you have capital, don't say I lack capital. It's no longer an excuse. It's no longer an excuse, because that I do not have capital has kept people on the same spot for 20 years. I know people who I do not have capital have kept like that for 30 years. Now they're in their 50s and in their 60s. They are still saying, I do not have capital. Yes, you do. If you don't have capital, you apply creativity. And then we say that the fifth reason why people do not turn their ideas, why they struggle to turn their ideas into big business, is because of the environment. Some environments are actually harder than others. There are some countries that is very so if you go online and then you check the doing business, ease of doing business index. So there's an index like that. Some countries are harder to do business in than others. A country like Rwanda, for instance, is very easy to do business. You can actually get in there within that same day. You register a company there. So, but it's very much harder in some places to even register a company to get there. It's very, very difficult. Then some countries are very friendly to small business owners. So they have small business funds that people can leverage. They leverage small business education that the government does. Some places you can also get capital at very low rate. Okay, there are countries you get you get a loan for 6%, but there are some countries that you get a loan for 35% here in Africa. So the environment can be very challenging. It can be a reason why people don't turn their ideas into business. And then sometimes it might not just be the macro environment. It might just be even the people you surround yourself with. So like Joseph, you tell your family members, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. They shut you down. They shut you. Say, who in this village has ever done something like that? And then they tell you, you have that friend. Anytime you don't, you have a good idea, you go tell them, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. And then they shut it down immediately. Do you have a friend like that? Just say, I do. Then get rid of people like that, So I used to have someone like that. Anytime I came up with ideas, he shot it. He gave me 1,000, and he was very wise. So he gave me 1,000 reasons why it will not work. And then those ideas will die. All right. So let's go step by step. Now, what do we do? What do we do then? How do we overcome all these barriers to turning our ideas into big businesses that can free us and free our families financially for the rest of our lives? The very first step is to define the problem you solve. Really, really sit down first of all to define the problem that you solve. And there are many ways you can do that, because I encourage my clients, maybe that's even a place to start, because defining the problem that you solve and then the purpose for your business actually go hand in hand. Because if you're starting a business just to make money, that business will not, it doesn't have a solid foundation, because making money is the worst reason to start a business. And I know somebody here will be very, very surprised. But type it in the comment section. Making money is the worst reason to start a business. The best reason to start a business is that there is a problem that you're so passionate about that you want to solve for people. So there's a problem that you're passionate about that you want to solve for people. So you want to define the purpose. So this idea, if I'm turning it into a business, what's the bigger purpose? What's the bigger impact in the world? What's the problem I'm trying to solve? For people, what is the problem? When we recruit for business schools, for some international business schools, one of the questions we ask, the very first question, I think is the very first question, is what problem does your business exist to solve? What problem does your business exist to solve? So I give you an example. And this is tied to my mission. So I have started a side business to my coaching business. And what that side business in the food sector, what it exists to solve, the problem it exists to solve is the fact that I can say that over 95% of our food is being poisoned with chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, GMOs, all kinds of things. And then you have palm oil is they add dyes, red dyes that cause cancer. The fish in the cold room is preserved with chemicals that are very toxic to the human body. The cassava fufu, people add detergent and bleach to the cassava that people eat. And then honey, we are told that honey is the third most adulterated food in the world. So someone in the know actually told me that. She mentioned it in the comment section where I wrote something about honey. Honey is the third most poison food. I didn't ask her what the first and the second, but I guess it's something that we can quickly check online. But honey is one of the most poisoned food substance in the world. So my business exists to depoison food, to give people, to solve the problem of adulteration, so that I can, in fact, I'm considering a company name that relates to conscience, because people no longer apply conscience. They put profit before people. So that's the problem, and that's a bigger mission. I want people, I want children, I want families, husbands and wives to be healthier. These days there's a whole lot of complications in the health, in the populations. Not only are cancers, exploding by every one of you here. Prove me wrong. Every one of you here has a relation or a friend or a colleague, or somebody in the neighborhood. You know someone who died of cancer. Prove me wrong. One of you has someone in your family, in your neighborhood, in your circles, in your church, wherever, or in your mosque, someone who died in cancer. So that is very alarming. Who died of cancer? That is very alarming. And where are all these things coming from? From the things that people are eating and consuming. So that's the higher purpose of my business. Now that keeps me going, because if it is just money, if money is the purpose, the business will not be strong, because you can now do anything for money. And not only that, when you get the money, you can abandon the business just dies. But you see, because there's a bigger mission, there's a bigger purpose to produce food free from poisoning, so that people, families can live healthy, so that children can grow healthy, so that newly married couples can conceive. Have you a medical doctor, obstetrician was telling me, and this was even like 2019. After 2019, he said that four out of every 10 marriages, I think 4 or 6 out of every 10 marriages in this part of the world struggle to conceive. Why? Why is it so? It was not like that. Growing up, I remember growing up in the late 60s, in the early 70s, when a man just passes within 6 foot of a girl, she gets pregnant. You just pass like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, no contact, she just gets pregnant. Of course, I'm kidding, but you understand what I mean. But today, people get married, they wait 2 years, 4 years, 5, 6, 7 years, and they are struggling to conceive. And they are struggling to conceive. Why? Health. The foods we eat, the things we have in our environment, changing our physiologies, changing our health, negatively. So that's why I'm into. So if you see me selling honey, or you see me selling palm oil, it's not palm oil I'm selling, it's not honey. Now you understand there's a bigger purpose between. Anytime you see me, I'm talking about honey. And the extent, because of the purpose of that business, the extent I now go to find the honey, I enter my truck and then travel around the whole place looking for hunter and sending people to follow the hunter to make sure that thing is honey, that thing is not diluted, they do not use chemical to do it, and the person, my boy, stays with him to do everything. It's not diluted. And then I decide, okay, hunter, don't sell to anybody. I will even pay you more, but I will buy up your supply because I trust in you. Why am I going the distance is because there's a bigger purpose to the business. It's not just to make money. I'm not just making money. So I wake up every day with renewed energy and strength because of that. Therefore, this very first step, if you want to bring your idea, to turn your idea to a powerful and viable business, is to define the problem that you are solving for the customer. Is somebody enjoying this? Is this making sense? Let me know. Are you being inspired? Just put it down. Let me know. Interact with me. Just type inspired. Are you inspired? Just type inspired, in the comment section. All right. Let me know if this is actually inspiring you. So that's the thing. So define the problem that you solve. All right. Write down the problem that your idea solves. That's number one. Number two, identify who has this problem. Who is your ideal customer? Because it's not going to be everybody. You cannot serve everybody. That's a mistake many people do. When they start their business, they want to sell to everybody. Like, my horn is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So I know the people who. And then, of course, if you're doing business from the beginning, in fact, I have one of the most controversial sayings in Africa, if not in the whole world. And that saying, that my proverb, was born out of my experience. After I left Shell and I was trying to do business for everybody, I was so concerned about the poverty in Africa. Until poor people showed me, until I came to the very, very sad conclusion that it is impossible to help the poor when the poor isn't interested in being helped. I found out that it's, many of you, if you are younger, you will think I'm being harsh, but you're going to experience it. The poor people are the hardest set of human beings to help. Extremely difficult to help, especially poor people. The entitlement, they feel that, the world is owing them lunch. And then they are not actually ready to come out of their situation. As long as you're giving them handouts, they are very good. And these are the people that you try to do business with. So when I started, I was actually interested in poor people, helping them. I was running coaching programs for free for them. And then they will come to a coaching program, which I was giving them for free when I started. They will come for the coaching program. I was doing everything to help them. I would print materials, outlines, give the poor people for free. We gave them water, bottled water. We gave them snacks. And do you know what the poor people did? Number one, I did it for weeks, but none of them changed. None of them applied anything I taught them. None of them. None of them. They are still where I left them. Why? Because I discovered that when people don't pay for when they don't pay for something, they don't take it serious. I proved it with the poor people. But do you know the last straw, as they say, during one of those free coaching that I was giving, usually after the coaching session, I give them an assessment form, to fill. I give them, feedback form, to fill. So there were questions like, what did you learn? What did you enjoy the most about this session? What did you take out of it? Then what can we do better next time? Questions like that. What worked well? What can we improve on next time? And then some of them wrote, it was very wonderful, Mr. Ogbo, but next time, please include menu. I should include a full course menu. Is it not a curse? Is that not the one that Nigerian meme was saying, no be juju be that? No be juju be that. You are trying to help people to come out of their poverty. You are teaching them. You are bringing them, renting space and chairs, giving them water, and snacks. And then they are telling you, next time, give us a full course meal, including menu in it. Your brother has seen things. So many times many times you see, you read certain things I read and you don't know where it's coming from. Did you even know that I had this experience? So at the end of it, I came out and I said, never do business for poor people. Do not do business for poor people. Type it, every one of you. Type it in the comment section. Type it also on YouTube as you're watching this. Do not do business for poor people. Never do business for poor people. What would you do for poor people? Charity. Do charity for them. Give them food. During Christmas and festive periods, give them rice, bags of rice. Give them food. Share clothes for them. But don't do business. Don't do business for poor people. That is guaranteed to fail. It's guaranteed to fail. All right. So that's what we are handling today. The very first step is define the problem that you solve. Define the purpose of the business. Define the value proposition. Define who you are doing this program for, this idea for, and then describe how your idea improves their lives. So that is the very first step to turning your idea into a big business. During the Financial Fitness Challenge, which is coming up shortly, we are going to do the practicals. You're going to receive a worksheet that will allow you to do these things. The Financial Fitness Challenge currently is enrolling at an early bird. Now, when you join the Financial Fitness Challenge, there are 3 basic steps. The first step is to define your current financial reality. Because if you don't know where you are, you can't figure out where you are going. So the first thing is we're going to help you to define your current financial situation. Do you have debt? What do you have budget? What's your income? What are your expenses? And what is your net worth? You need to understand all these things. The second thing that we do is to ask you, what does financial success mean for you? You've got to define it. What is your vision of the future? What's your vision? What does financial freedom and liberty look like to you and your family? That's the second one. And then you define that. And then the third is to now help you to create a path between where you are and where you need to be. And all those things will involve, how do you make enough money? How do you manage your money? How do you multiply that? That's investing it. So we talk about the stock market, we talk about the other financial markets, we talk about even real estate. Then we talk about business, starting your own business, running your own business. And then we basically look at the root cause and all the psychological barriers keeping you from attaining your financial freedom. So the Financial Fitness Challenge is enrolling with the early bird right now. So if you want to be part of it, no matter the part of the country or the part of the world, I beg your pardon, that you are for. Last class we had people from the United States. We usually have people from the United States, people from the UK. We had somebody from Denmark once. We've had someone from Australia. And of course, we have people from Gambia, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, from Ghana, from Nigeria. We've had people from Cameroon, from different places join. People from Kenya join the Financial Fitness Challenge. Because financial freedom doesn't come by default. And then my mentor, the 85-year-old mentor, also told me, he said, oh, but no one can get rich unless another person shows him or her how. That's what the financial fitness challenge is like. Okay, so you work with me for a period of 2-3 months. Okay, but then the grand finale is 3 days that we meet face-to-face Zoom. But within the 2 months or so, or the couple of weeks that you are part of that group, I'm going to be giving you assignments. I'm going to be having occasional conversations with you. So if you haven't enrolled for the Financial Fitness Challenge, that's my mentorship group. Can you imagine what you're getting for free and how much more, when you pay that token to be part of the class. So DM me now for the payment details. Okay, so for those of you outside of Nigeria, there's a link, to pay. For those of you within Africa, there's a link. Those of you in Nigeria, there's a link to pay. And then when you do that, once you enroll, you'll be taken to a Telegram group where you're going to be receiving the bonuses, and then you can have some Q&A with me, and I'm going to give you a couple of assignments to help you to think, to develop a framework for looking at your money, looking at your finances. Okay, so tomorrow we will go into the second step in turning your ideas into a big business. So don't forget, step 1 that we dealt with today is to define the problem that you solve, to define the purpose of this business, the purpose of idea. And then in doing that, you are writing down the problem that your idea solves. Like my own idea solves the problem of the chemicalization, the corruption, the contamination, the whatever of foods, which is creating health problems for people. Identify who has this problem, okay, and describe how your idea will improve their life. So that's your assignment for tonight. And then tomorrow we will now go into the very second step, which is to find and validate your first customer. That's the most important step in bringing your idea. The moment you find and validate your customers, that idea will take flight. Is that the correct word? Will it take flight? That idea will take off massively without looking back. All right, so I hope this has been valuable to you. Whatever happens, keep showing up, because you have no idea what's coming your way next. And I'm going to see you at exactly same time, same platforms, this same time tomorrow.